My top 50 pinball machines. It's the first video in a little while, so apologies for that one. Today, it's Jurassic Park that's going to get the Flipperama treatment. For those of you who are unfamiliar with this particular concept, it's my top 50 games. It's not anybody else's. It's unlike the Pinside Top 100, which is sort of, well, it's a vote, isn't it? It's a vote with the top one coming out top. This is mine. But there are some qualifying criteria for this. The game has to have lived here, in this house, either on loan, either owned by me, donated for the benefit of doing these videos by kind friends or by the channel sponsor, Pinball Heaven, or maybe a rental. The reason that I only want to compare games that I've had in this house is because I don't believe it's fair to compare a game that you've learnt the rules over a period of time in the comfort of your man cave with something that you might have played once on location in a noisy arcade. You can't learn the rules. You can't even hear the call out sometimes. So I want to compare like with like. And that's why we do it this way. The other thing, and that's really, really important to remember, is I have to have done a video on it to qualify for this list. So there's many games. I'm reading the list at the bottom here. Stranger Things, Toy Story 4, 8-Ball Deluxe, Aerosmith. I've not done videos on those for the top 50, so they're not on the list. So at the moment, it's at the top, we've got Attack from Mars, Deadpool, Big Lebowski, Batman 66, Godzilla, Fishtails, Elvira's House of Horrors, Cactus Canyon, Star Trek Next Generation, Total Nuclear Annihilation, Foo Fighters, Champion Pub, Dolly Parton, Sopranos, World Cup Soccer, Medieval Madness, Rush, Avengers Infinity Quest, Judge Dredd, Stern Star Wars, important that, Jurassic Park Home Edition, so the one I'm doing today is the Keith Elwin version. Ghostbusters, are they remaking that? Have you heard that? That might be happening, I don't know. Popeye, X-Men, John Wick, and Jackpot. So those are the ones that have been done so far. Today is the turn of Jurassic Park. If you don't see a game there's only two reasons why it's not there. Either I've not done a video yet, or it's never been in this house, so it doesn't qualify. People ask all the time, you haven't got Twilight Zone up there, you haven't got Addams Family up there, different games. I've never had them. They've never been in this house, so they don't qualify. I've got to say, in terms of Twilight Zone, I don't even want to have it. I've played it. I'm not a fan. Sorry, Alan. There we go. Anyway, and Alan has been a great supporter of this channel because he lent us World Cup Soccer. What do we also have with Munsters over here? He's been so good. Without Alan, I wouldn't have got addicted to Whitewater, and I have a Whitewater at the moment, by the way. Jurassic Park. Now, what I would say about Jurassic Park is I've had it twice. I had it, played it, sold it, bought it back, sold it again. It actually has an element of nostalgia, not because of the movies at all. It has an element of nostalgia because I think it was it was one of my first games, basically. It was certainly pre-lockdown. And I think lockdown, in terms of COVID, was a really good way to measure pinball in terms of a calendar in your mind. Because, well, so many of us were locked in, and anybody that was locked in their house, it seems crazy that it even happened now. Anyone that was locked in their house and that had a pinball machine, you were very lucky, and I was certainly one of those lucky people who, as crazy as it was, I was able to come down here and I was able to play games, and that was great. So, but certainly I feel that Jurassic Park was pre-lockdown. So when I hear one of them cranked up, or I see a video online of someone, maybe playing Jurassic Park, there's a nostalgia to it. I feel a good warmth towards a game. I do this, and I try and assess the criteria a little bit differently to how, for instance, the Pinside Top 100 might be done. When I do votes on there, it's asking for cabinet artwork, back glass artwork, call-outs. There's lots of stuff on there which really don't necessarily factor into what's important to me. The most, and I don't believe that each one should have equal numerical value. So, for instance, you might rate the shots on there. Well, the shots are good shots on a pinball machine are surely worth much more than, let's say your shots were 10 out of 10. That's got to be worth more than a 10 out of 10 for your back glass artwork. So for me, I often look at Pinside Top 100, and I like it, and there's a lot I agree with, but there's a lot I disagree with, but that's because it's personal. For me, the first most important thing about a pinball machine is it fun? And that should be worth 100 points. Is it fun? Cabinet artwork should be worth about 2 points. You know, have a conversation about it, and some games are absolutely beautiful, but I'm not sure how important it is to me. Second most important thing is it addictive? That's really important, because that's going to dictate how much I'm going to play a pinball machine. Then we look at things like charm and personality, toys and mechanisms, humour. That's really important. Is there humour in it? Is it approachable? Is it easy to play? Are the rules simple enough that I can read the apron card and just get along with it? I don't want to download a 30-page PDF before I play a pinball machine. I've no interest in that whatsoever. I think a great example of that is Avengers Infinity Quest. Great shots. I couldn't tell you. And again, I've had that game twice. I can't tell you what's going on that one. The rules we've spoken about. Are the goals achievable, which feeds into the rules? I think that's really important, that when you're playing a pinball machine, it's giving you encouragement. You might not get to the end, you might not get to wizard mode, but is it going to keep you engaged? And I think finally, do I regret it leaving? That ultimately, that tells me whether I've really liked a pinball machine or not. And I think the thing I should say about Jurassic Park is I'd have it back again for a third time. In fact, there was one for sale, if there's more than one for sale in the UK, but there was a second-hand game that I saw for sale very recently, and I was almost tempted. And maybe I would have done. The only reason I probably would, I'm so lucky now. I've managed to get a really good collection of basically I have my favourite games, and I'm really, really lucky to have that. So you probably see Lord of the Rings. I don't know if you can see that. Lord of the Rings is there. Got Dolly Parton is over, not the lady, not the singer. She could sing us a tune if she was. The pinball machine's over there. We've got Uncanny X-Men premium over there. That's not mine, by the way. That is Pinball Heaven. You can buy that. That's for sale, actually. Pinball Heaven. That's kindly lent to me for video purposes by Pinball Heaven. What else have we got? Deadpool, which of course is second on my list. I've got Deadpool. I've got Attack from Mars, Whitewater, Jaws, Pulp Fiction, Big Lebowski. For anything to come in, something's got to go, and I'm sure you'll understand, very, very difficult for any of those games to go. But let's talk about this. Jurassic Park. Is it fun? It's damn good fun. I think from the moment you turn on and you hear the music, it gets you engaged. I think the animations on it are fantastic. You can get a movie code for it, which will put some of the movie scenes on it. It's very good. But I still think the animations on it are some of the best animations that Stern have done. I think it blows. I can't think of a better set of animations where you actually have, where they've very much created the T-Rex. The T-Rex is where the T-Rex chases the Jeep, which is a multi-ball mode. It's an excellent mode, one of the best modes, very addictive mode. That is a really, really good animated sequence. They've done brilliantly on there. And I think they've probably spent a lot of money on doing that. And the fact that it hasn't got the official movie scenes in it, I don't care, which is strange. So they've got a very much a B-list actor on there. I can't think of the guy's name for the life of me. He's the bad dude in the film who tries to steal the DNA and ends up getting squirted by a dinosaur. That is definitely not a euphemism. I can't think of the games. I can't think of the guy's name. It's going to annoy me. But when you think they didn't get Jeff Goldblum, they didn't get David Attenborough, Richard Attenborough. I get confused now. David Attenborough, Dickie Attenborough. I didn't get David Attenborough. They didn't get any of the main people to be able to. In fact, I think that would have been impossible to get him for obvious reasons. And I look at what they've done more recently, where they've got Richard Dreyfuss to do call-outs on Jaws, who obviously played Hooper. They've got Ian McShane to do call-outs on John Wick, who's like a main character, plays Winston, doesn't he, in John Wick. So they've got some real A-list actors to do the call-outs on the modern games. They didn't have this on Jurassic Park. They clearly didn't have as big a license as they wanted. I don't think it impacts it at all. I think it's absolutely magnificent. I think in terms of fun, The sequence of skill shots at the start of Jurassic Park, I think, compared to anything. It's up that T-Rex ramp, and I can't remember the order in which you got to do it, but I think the best I ever did was 4 shots. And it just flows. It's a wonderful, wonderful game. It is addictive. The toys and mechanisms very much depends on which version you've got. So the premium, I think the T-Rex grabs the ball and chucks it around. I've only ever had the Pro twice, so I've never got to experience that. I think it locks the ball in a raptor pen. I don't mind not having that, by the way. That's absolutely fine. I don't mind not having that. I think in terms of sort of pinball moments and toys and mechanisms, I think that's a big deal, the T-Rex grabbing the ball. I do. Particularly bearing in mind the shark controversy on Jaws, that Jaws didn't eat the ball, but the T-Rex certainly does eat the ball. I think it's really cool. Really, really cool, actually. I wouldn't look at it and say it's packed full of mechanisms. For me, this game is all about the shots. It is approachable. The game very much does. I think it catches people's eye. It's just a magnificent game. And I think the fact that you can get that multi-ball, the T-Rex multi-ball, very early in the game, I think that helps because it gets people engaged, which helps make it approachable. In terms of it having the shots are amazing. Spelling chaos on it is fantastic. The upper right ramp where it spins around, I think is a very, very rewarding shot. I like the helicopter shot. Probably was the first game where I truly enjoyed variation of shots off the upper flipper, I think. The guy is a really, really good... State the obvious that Keith Elwin's a good designer, but he is a really good designer. He really thinks his shots through well. And I think without him, without Elwin doing that, being innovative, you don't get the range of shots that you've got on Uncanny X-Men, which has incredible ball paths on it. The shots, I love the missile shot. There's something very, very special about it. I feel it's been replicated on Jaws with the shark's fin coming up. Now the shark's fin is closer, so you'd think it's not as challenging. I do love a long shot in pinball. The missile shot is a long shot. I always like the sniper tower in Judge Dredd. I've done Judge Dredd, yeah. I like a long shot where Jaws, because it's closer, doesn't mean it's easier though, because you've got a moving target on Jaws. But a good shot, it's the same thing. I feel it's the same drama. It stops the ball, and there's a countdown. And to have a pinball moment, you don't necessarily have to have a massive mechanism. You pardon the expression. Sorry, you didn't tune in for that stuff, did you? Let's be fair. Anyway, I can't get back on track. I think the missile shot creates a pinball moment. It really does. So yeah, really, really great game. The rules, they're a little. I'm not entirely sure. What's going on still. I think you've got to rescue some dinosaurs. You've got to get the dinosaurs crated up and boxed up, and then a helicopter comes and takes them away. I'm not entirely sure how you do that. I just feel I'm hitting shots and random stuff is happening because of it. I think you've got to clear the staff out of the pen, so you go through sort of one sector to another, and you work your way across the map. I get it, but there's so much. And then you've got to collect the DNA as well. There's almost too much going on for me. As not a great player, I often said about Jurassic Park, I found myself playing the first 20% of the game over and over again. Yet despite that, I still want it back, so it's definitely doing something right. It is rewarding. I'm not sure how much of the code is rewarding me, but the shots feel really rewarding. I remember reading something about Keith Elwin, or maybe I heard an interview, I can't remember now, but he wanted kinetic shots. He wanted some feedback. He wanted the feel. And I think when you play pinball, you want to, well, I say you know what you want out of a pinball machine better than I do, but I feel I want to feel connected to it. And I mean in the shots. I'm going to say something quite controversial now. I don't care for shaker motors. I'm not bothered. I don't care. I prefer the kinetic feel of an actual shot. I guess if you reward a shot with a shaker motor shaking or something like that, then it will do something. But I really liked that when I heard about the kinetic feel of it. And I think there's a reward. I'd be interested to know what the perfect shot of a ramp is. But sometimes just the timing of a shot, and it goes around a ramp and comes back down and feeds back to the flipper. Sometimes the timing is just perfect. I'll give you an example of a game where the timing should be perfect, but it's not. Star Trek, the Stern one, Steve Ritchie. I don't know if this is the case on all the versions, but on the ramp, so picture a Steve Ritchie layout if you want. It's got the moulded plastic ramps, which bring back to the flipper. What happens is when you hit the shot, it goes up round the ramp and comes back down, and there's a hole in the bottom of the moulded plastic. Rather than the ball dropping through the hole and then going down to the flipper, it has so much momentum that it bounces off the end of the ramp. So it bounces a few times and then drops down the hole. It kills the rhythm. It kills the timing of the shot. I actually hate it. I do. I love the game. I think the game is brilliant. But what you want is for that just to roll down some wire form, bang, and fall through the hole, fall onto the flipper. The timing's right. But you hit the shot and it goes round the ramp, and it's just as it's coming down, it goes boing, 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 boing down the hole. Oh, man, you've killed the timing of it. There's something really good about the timing of a shot when it comes back correctly, and this has got it. It just seems to spend the right amount of time on the ramps. It's just a lot going for it. I think there's some easy shots. I think there's some tough shots. The furthest right orbit, so the shot in between the ramp and the helicopter one. Maybe it's the S in Chaos. I'm not entirely sure. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's really tight. It's a hard shot. There's some really hard shots on it. But I think it's just a magnificent game. And the more I'm talking about it, the more I actually want it back. So I think there's I don't feel the code is rewarding necessarily. Some of the T-Rex stuff is. But I think there's a harmony between what the screen is delivering and what you're doing on the shots. It seems, whilst I don't fully understand what I meant to do, that's just because I'm an idiot rather than the game itself. I definitely think there's enough feedback coming back from what's happening on the screen, and certainly the feedback on the shots. It just feels right. I actually think Jurassic Park is a masterpiece. There you go. What do you think of that? So, with that in mind, I've actually got a couple of controversial things, more controversial than the shaker motor, actually. Here's the thing. What do you think? I'm sure most of you are gonna say in your mind now Godzilla. What do you think is Keith Elwin's best game? Most people will say Godzilla. And this is why theme is important. I do think theme's important, but only for deciding long term what's the key. But I don't think I certainly I may look old enough to have watched the black and white versions of Godzilla, but I never did. I think I've seen one film. I still don't know if Godzilla is a good guy or a bad guy. He's playing Godzilla and you're battling these bad guys. Well, hold on a second, I've just destroyed Tokyo. I've just been trampling on people and destroying buildings and stuff. I'm not sure I'm a good guy. I'm not sure he's a good lizard, bad lizard, naughty butterfly. Everyone's naughty. Jurassic Park's different. I have far more affinity to the film Jurassic Park. I think the code in Godzilla is better. I sort of understand that. You know, you've got the jets, you've got the tanks, you've got to get through each city. There's only 4 cities. I think the code is easier for me to understand. The theme, Jurassic Park takes it. The shots, there's probably more innovation on Godzilla. But I've owned Godzilla, and I won't get it back. So that's telling you quite a lot there. I've had Pulp Fiction. I've had Jurassic Park twice, and I would have it back again under the right circumstances. So I am actually going to put it above Godzilla, which is just here. It doesn't go above Batman 66. And if you want to know why, you're going to have to watch the Batman 66 video, which is on this channel. Use a Google search. Google search. They did Google search. Do a YouTube search on this channel. Batman 66, Gonzo's top 50 or whatever. But that's a really good ranking, I think, when you look at some of the wonderful games that are in here. And I'm not entirely sure how sure I am about that, but you know, look, if you have a game that's above Fishtails, Elvira's House of Horrors, and Star Trek Next Generation, that's a good pinball machine. And Jurassic Park is exactly that. It is an excellent pinball machine, which is why at the moment 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is why it's 5th on my list. 5th. It's not going to stay 5th. I know that for a fact. We've got big hitters that are not on there. In fact, the only one in this room that's Dolly Parton's on there. Uncanny X-Men isn't on there. Lord of the Rings isn't on there. I'm not saying they both go above Jurassic Park. Whitewater's not on there. Jaws isn't on there. Pulp Fiction isn't on there. Yeah, I mean, there's games. There's definitely games, and this is going to be really interesting and see what this sort of distills down to. Anyway, there you go. Thank you for watching. Really appreciate it. Keep your eye on the channel. Please keep your eye on the channel. Next day or two, we've got an interview with Jerry from Multimorphic about latest P3 release. Keep your eyes on that. Massive thank you, as ever, to everybody that watches the video. Massive thank you to channel sponsor, Pinball Heaven. We got some really good events. We've got a Pinball Heaven event coming up, which is going to be a really, really good, really big deal. Cannot wait for that. We've got some really exciting stuff coming on that. We've got a little bit, some exclusive stuff coming from JJP as well, which is going to be really, really good, really exciting. We've also got Pinfest coming up, UK Pinfest, by the way, UK Pinfest. Looking forward to that. We are sponsoring Gonzo's Pinball Flipperama. We are sponsoring the Classics competition, so really looking forward to that. Again, something is going to be happening with a twist there. Go and check out, please go and check out Pinfest. Please go and check out the links in the description below. If you're going to be in a classic competition, get your... It's unlike the main competition. You want to go and get your qualification stuff in now. You want to go and book your spot, book your slot. Big prize money there for the Classics competition as well. I'm going to enter it, but I'm not expecting to. I'm sponsoring it. It's going to cost me money. I don't think I'll be getting any money back because I'm not a good enough player. But that's absolutely fine. There you go. Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park. Let me know what you think in the comments below. At the moment, it's 5th for me. I don't think it will stay there, but please let me know where you... Do you know what? That's a bit of a broad question to ask you. Let me know. Is there anyone watching this who, like me, prefers Jurassic Park to Godzilla? There's nothing bad about Godzilla. Godzilla is still there. Godzilla's above Fishtails. Anything that's above Fishtails is a damn fine game. Is it just me? Anybody else think Jurassic Park is better than Godzilla?